Hey guys, this is Tagene from Money Coaching Services, and today I'm going to be talking to you about how to manage your money using the 50-30-20 rule. What is that? Anyway, before we get into the details, I'd like you to subscribe, hit like, so that you know that when we are on. All right, so I am Tagene Brown-McBean, and I am your money coach at Money Coaching Services. So I provide services to help individuals and business manage their money. For individuals, with the budgeting, debt consolidation advice, financial goal advice, like if you want to buy a house, if you're planning for retirement, things like that. We do the calculation and we give you the guidance so that you know if you are on track. For business owners, we help you with operations and sales and cash flow strategies to help you bring your business from strength to strength and making more money. So let's get into the details. So I am going to share my screen. Sharing my screen. All right. So here I will be sharing a PowerPoint slide with you. So all right. So the 50-30-20 rule is a budgeting guide. And I put emphasis on the word guide because no budget is the same exact every month. Nobody's budget is the same every month. There are changes for different months. So let's get into more details. All right, so first of all, we have to address income types, right? So you have gross income and you have net income. Gross income is the income before the government subtracts their taxes. And your net income is the money that you get after the taxes have been subtracted, right? But some people have other expenses that subtract from their income. So their net income, actual net income, and their take-home income might be different, right? It's only different because the take-home income, you have money that has been subtracted from your net income, like loans, salary deduction, set up for loans, for life insurance, for union dues, for all manner of things. All right. All right. So the 50-30 budgeting guide. So 50%, this is what the guide or the rule says. 50% of your income should go towards your needs. 30% of your income should go to wants. And 20% of your income should go to savings. All right? So your needs account for 50% of your take-home income. Yes, people, we are doing the math on the net income, right? The money after the taxes have been subtracted. That's what we are doing your budget on. So 50% of your net income covers your needs. What is in the needs category? Needs category include housing, which can be either mortgage or rent, utilities, transportation costs, and groceries. Now, 40% accounts for about 40%. So 30% is for wants. So 30% of your take-home income should cover wants. So wants include anything that is a personal preference. So the wants category for everybody is a personal preference. So your wants may look like entertainment, dining out, date night, shopping for non-essential items, stuff like that. So those are popular things that you might see under a person's want category when they are doing a budget. All right, savings now account for 20% of your take-home income. And when we say savings, we mean savings slash financial goals. So your emergency fund savings gonna be there. Anything that you have additional saved towards for retirement, investment, and repayment of debt. That is where we put those things. All right, so it gives you some clarity as to what goes where. Because when you know what goes where, when you're doing your budget now and things change, you will not stress. All right, I'm also going to show you a budget. We're going to go through everything and show you what to do when things change. All right, so the 50-30-20 budgeting rule is a guide, people. Guide. It is a way to allocate your budget according to the three main categories. Needs, 50%, wants, 30%, savings and financial goals, 20%. It is not hard and fast, meaning it don't have to be exact, right? As I said before, it is a guide to help you to build a financially sound budget. So what to focus on when funds are low? So here we're getting into understanding what is priority in a budget. The number one priority in a budget for the categories to always focus on the needs. Needs always come first. Needs is the number one priority in your budget. So when you have less income because of getting a lower paying job or because of illness or any other factors that affect how much you get for your income or how much your income can cover, then when you're doing your budget, you first allocate funds to your needs category. All right. When creating a budgeting plan, you're gonna start with this order. All right. So needs come first. Needs include grocery, transportation, housing, utilities. Then financial goals is your second priority, which is your savings, your emergency fund, your investment, and your debt repayment. And one come dead last, which includes entertainment, vacation, and the works. All right, so here is how it works. You calculate your monthly income. You add up how much you receive each month. Because some people might not have one job, especially these days, one source of income. So what you're gonna do is just put all the income together, whether you have a main job, your 9 to 5, and then after you do a a side job, certain hours, you do 3 hours out of the day or whatever for certain days of the week to make up your additional income. You do a grand total of your net income. All right? So you calculate your spending threshold. What does that look like? So you're going to multiply your take-home income to arrive at a dollar value. So 50% of your income, what is the dollar value? 30% of your 30% of your income, what is the dollar value? 20% of your income, what is the dollar value? To see how much you would ideally spend for the category. So in other words, to give you an idea of how much is a good figure to spend for each category, you use this as a guide. Yes. So it's not hard and fast. So when I hear people saying, oh, the 50-30-20 rule doesn't work, people, it is a guide. So what it is doing is just focusing your attention in a particular direction, because money and transaction is not static. It moves, it changes, it's flexible. So you have to learn how to be flexible in how you think about managing your money. And I'm going to show you how to do that when I share my Excel spreadsheet. All right. So when you're planning, plan your budget around these numbers. You think of these 3 categories and you basically fill in what are your monthly expenses. So you list and add down your monthly expenses under each category that it falls into and see whether you are spending less than the monthly target you have established, right? So your monthly target for each category is going to be based on the percentage assigned to the category. All right, so the next step is to follow your budget. So track your expenses each month and make changes where necessary. Did you hear that, people? Make changes where necessary in order to stick to a spending threshold going forward. All right. So here is a little example. Break down things for you so you have an idea. Because sometimes when they give you the theory, it don't really stick until you see the numbers and the maths. So we're going to math it out for you, right? So your monthly take-home income before taxes is 150,000. Now this is a rough estimation, guys. I just pulled some figures out of my hat. Yeah. So I did no calculation. So if 150,000 after you take out taxes out of it would be less than 120,000. I did not do any calculation. I just guessed what the figure would be after tax. All right? Okay. But you would know what your after tax figure is. Not so. All right? So our after tax figure for this demonstration is 120,000. So what you would have is 50% of 120,000 is for needs would be 60,000. So your target for needs is 60,000. For wants, 30% of 120,000 is 36,000. So your target is 36,000 for wants. And for your savings and financial goals, 20% of 120,000 is 24,000. Okay, people? So these figures are a guide. All right. Also, I mentioned in other videos about things that you can use to help you to create a budget, the tools. So, budgeting tool that you can use. I'm an Excel junkie. I love Excel. I've done budgets up to the longest budget I've done is a 3-year budget. But I'm not going to go into that with you now, guys. I'm not going to give you a 3-year budget to do. But what I'm saying is that the longer your budget is, the better planning you can do. And yes, some of you might be saying, but the budget will not be accurate. The budget is never 100% accurate. But I normally recommend that persons don't do a monthly budget. I recommend that you do a yearly budget because a yearly budget would take into consideration all the expenses that you normally would experience over a 12-month period, right? Because January month is school fee month for those who have children. Probably the house insurance due in July, the car insurance due in October, right? So these things, when you're planning for them, when you do a 1-year budget, it is easy for you to see in January that you might not have enough money for July to cover your insurance for the house, people. All right, so these are the little tips and tricks that when you see the numbers, you can go further ahead with your planning. For those of you who plan in your head, your planning strategy is gonna have a lot of pitfalls because the mind cannot handle so many. The mind cannot handle so many numbers and to remember what goes where when it goes there. So you're basically making yourself kind of overwhelmed. Don't keep it in the mind. Put it, jot it down. It must be in writing or written and typed somewhere else other than in your head, somewhere that you can see it, literally see it with your eyes and not in your mind's eye. Sorry, I couldn't help myself with that. All right, next. So, all right, so that's the end of this presentation. So what I'm gonna do now is go to the spreadsheet and give you some real world scenarios so you can understand what I'm saying, right? Or you get a better appreciation for what I am saying. Because I know you people are bright people, you already understand what I'm saying. All right, so stop sharing that. And I am now gonna share the budget spreadsheet. So I hope all of you can see this. I call it Mary Jane's test budget using 50-30-20 rule. All right, so Mary is here. I'm just pretending that Mary has come for a consultation. So she says, how do I do my budget? My take-home income after taxes is 120,000. So as we've done before, the calculation, I've already put in the calculation. So there's 120,000 take-home income, right? Which is the after-tax income. Now we're gonna go in the expense section. Now, here people, needs, 50% of Mary's needs works out to be 50% of her income that is assigned to needs works out to be 60,000 per month, right? So Mary gives us how much she spends for groceries. She said 36,000. Then she said utility is 6,000. Yes, guys, I know the utility part might not look so accurate, but just work with me, right? I just get some figures and put in there. All right. Transportation cost, $2,000. Rent, $20,000, right? I did this to show you that when the needs category is total up for Mary, Mary is spending 4,000 more than what is assigned for needs based on this rule. However, because we have said to you that needs is the number one priority, when you are budgeting, you don't really focus on if the needs is over by so much, because if anything is going to get more money over the target amount, it is absolutely going to be the needs category because it is the highest priority. People, all right? You get that? All right, good. So wants is 30% of the income, which calculates to 36,000. When we add up what Mary has for one, comes up to 30,000, right? And when we go down to Mary's savings and financial goals, we get 20,000 of is what she's actually spending, and target amount is actually 24,000 for savings, right? So we're good on that, right? All right, cool. Now, here it shows that Mary doesn't have any debt. She doesn't have a credit card. She doesn't have any loan, right? But that might change. All right, I'm gonna stop sharing for a little. Yes, so that might change. To go back, we are going to go back to sharing Mary's budget. All right. So the point of doing a budget first is to get as close to the target amount for each category as is possible, right? That is the goal. That's the first goal. The second goal is to balance, ensure that you're not spending more than the income that you earn. So your expenses should be lower than your income. So right now, Mary has $6,000 left after she's done all of her spending, after subtracting all of her expenses. So the other spreadsheet I'm going to show you now is where Mary starts to have some changes in her budget, right? How to allocate the funds based on changes that might come up. All right. Give me a minute, people. I'm just copying over what is here to the other cell just to ensure that we are using figures that, right, so everything matches now. So this particular month, Mary starts to experience some changes in her budget, right? Say, for example, Mary wants to buy a car. Mary wants to buy a car. So when it comes to her finances now, she's gonna buy a car, and the amount that she's gonna pay per month is gonna be, I'm gonna use like about 25,000, and the principal could be about 1.7 million. All right, I won't put in any interest rates, right? Not for this demonstration anyway. But what this does, it shows off Mary's budget. Shows off Mary's budget, and now Mary is in minus, right? So what area of your budget, whether it is something that you have gotten a loan for that increases your expense, or something unexpected happens, where do you find the money? You look in the budget. The answer is you look in the budget. Where in the budget do you look for the money so that you can try to balance the budget? The answer is wants. Always go to your wants category first when you have any challenges paying for anything. You do not go to needs. Needs is, as it says, a need, right? So we first go to wants. If for any reason we go to wants and it does not satisfy all the requirements for us to balance, the next category we go to is savings and financial goals, right? So always go to wants first when you want to recalculate what is in your budget. How you're gonna do that? So this spreadsheet that I've created has some interesting headings. So you have present expense, meaning what is the actual expense now for that line item, what is the change going to be, and what the difference is going to be. All right, so let me show you how that works. So you bought, or you're planning to buy a car. Are you doing the math to see if you can afford it? Because I teach you guys this as well, that you can use the budget to figure out if you can get any loans or so on for different reasons. All right. So the wants category now, eating out, we're going to change eating out and we're going to reduce the figure for that. So we need 19,000. All right, 19,000. Once 20,000 is there, we're going to put 20,000 back in the column that says present expense, 20,000. This is so that you know what the original figure was before you changed it. So that's why I set up the calculator like this. Then what is it going to change to? What are you going to change the eating out to? So are you eating out once every Friday night? If so be the case, and your expense is 20,000 and you want to go out like once a month instead, then we are assuming that it's 4 weeks in the month. So we are going to calculate what that figure looks like, right? So 20,000 divided by 4, 5,000 is the new figure. All right. So we're gonna put 5,000 in what we call the change expense column. The change expense column just simply means what the expense has been adjusted to. So we adjusted from 20,000 now to 5,000. And then we make the correction, we make the adjustment here. I also sometimes just highlight the expense in a different color so that as I look at it, I realize that, okay, this figure has been changed. And then I look over the other side and see how much has it changed by. All right, so we save $15,000 by doing that. All right, so we need $4,000 more, and then we're going to be balanced. Where are we going to find the $4,000? You might say, okay, for the moving night, I want to change that to $6,000. $6,000. I was going to change with the present expense. It was 10,000 before, and now what the change is going to be. So the present expense was 10, and the change that we're making is 6,000. So you have saved 4,000 by making the adjustment on that expense. All right, so in total now, we're going down to the bottom, we are balanced, people. So this is just a little demonstration to show you that your budget, a budget is not rigid. A budget is not rigid. It is how we were taught about budget that is rigid. Right? You were taught that you set this other expense and it must be that expense for the rest of your life, not so. Things change. And when things change, you need to know what to adjust in the budget to accommodate the change. But this is the example I am showing you guys. So I won't go any further. I think that is kind of self-explanatory. But if for any reason, say, all right, I'm going to give you another scenario. Another scenario is that Mary has gotten a pay cut. Do I want to use that example? All right, Mary has gotten, and I'm going to use a pay cut, but if she has gotten a pay cut and it is half of her salary, what would you do? Half of her salary. So what would essentially happen is that everything in one gets wiped out. Mary would have to, everything in savings, that is also gone. And Mary would have to sell the car. No, so. Right? So she would have to sell the car. So what would be left is the needs category. The needs category is always there. Now, some things in the needs category can be adjusted based on seeking a cheaper expense, meaning I wouldn't really trouble grocery. If I go in trouble grocery, I would like, say, probably the 36 there or so. And then I take a little piece off it, like a $4,000, just to be able to ensure that the budget balances. You understand? So that is why I use this type of calculation because it shows me, see what I did there? Right, these are the change expense, meaning what the expense has changed to. It shows me if I were to change the expense from the original figure, present figure, to this new figure here, which I normally like to highlight in yellow, then how much money has been saved, right? Changing Mary's income, we're gonna do a little subtraction up here, so minus half our salary, and we're still short $4,000. Short $4,000. Hold on. It's supposed to be 30. It's supposed to be reduced by 4,000. So it's gonna be 32,000. 32,000. Right? Utilities, that probably stay the same. Yeah. And we are balanced, people. We balance. So I'm gonna share this spreadsheet with you because a lot of you don't have not experienced somebody just giving you the reasons why you do what for your budget. And so when you have changes, like Mary has experienced, she bought a car. After she bought the car, basically the salary get cut to half, which that is a nightmare for a lot of people, but that's exactly what happened in COVID, right? And so here is a practical way for you to do some of those adjustments. Now, the adjustments might not always be a negative adjustment. What do I mean by that? The adjustment could be also, which is the third scenario, you getting a bonus, right? So we're going to take out the half income that Mary has gotten, and her salary has gone up back to the 120,000, and she has gotten a bonus. So she gets a bonus that is equivalent to her salary. Isn't that nice? 120,000 bonus. All right. So we're gonna readjust the figures. So all you need to do is look back at what is called present expenses to see what was the original expense amount, and you just put back the figure. All right. So that is exactly what I am doing now. So I can remove these because it has gone back to where it was before. Okay, I hope you guys still following. All right, so Mary has gotten a bonus. We're gonna put back the emergency fund and the investments and the life insurance. As I said, life insurance, guys, any life insurance, critical illness insurance, or something like that, when you are short of money, the first thing you do is you do not cancel the life insurance policy. What you can do is you first see if you can reduce the coverage. So say you have a life insurance that has $10 million coverage, right? And based on your age, say you're in your 20s, you're not gonna pay much for that. You're gonna pay like probably $5,000 each, so much. But if a person is in their 40s, might pay a bit more. So in Mary's case, she's paying $5,000 for her life insurance. What you do, you ask your agent if the coverage, the 10 million, can be reduced to a smaller figure. Now remember, the reason why you buy the life insurance or the critical illness insurance is just in case anything happens. So even though you might have a little challenge financially, your challenge might not be so bad that you need to get rid of the policy altogether. So another idea you can say to your agent is, if I reduce it by, say, the 10 million to 5 million, how much that work out to? And you crunch it in your budget and see if the budget say yes, then you're good. So instead of a $10 million coverage, you have $5 million. So if anything happens, say like a critical illness, you still get $5 million, people. One of the worst things is for somebody to have a plan in place and cancel it, especially the critical illness plan, because you're not dead, you are alive, but now you're sick. And there is no money for you to cover your critical illness. People, critical illness expenses are not cheap, they're expensive. All right. So I just wanted to make that side note for you, because that is also important when you're doing your budgeting. You must know these fine details so that when you are making your adjustments, you will have an idea of what impact it will make on you when you make certain decisions. All right. So I think, oh, Mary gets our bonus now. Oh, Jesus. So we are going to do with Mary bonus. All right. You can, I have a video called Windfall. What that means, when you get any unexpected money or you get any lump sum money, and the recommendation is that you spend part of the money on paying off any debt if you have debt, right? 30% towards debt. Well, 33 and a third, you know the fraction. Yeah. So you spend 1/3 on debt, meaning paying loans and credit cards. For some of you who are not clear what debt means, not dying debt, but financial, not have no money debt or owe people debt. Yeah. 1/3 on savings and the other 1/3 on investments. No, some people might say, but if I get my bonus, I want to spend some of it on myself. So okay. So you have the option to choose whether from the third that goes to saving or the third that goes to investment, if you want to revert that fund or reallocate that fund to spending it on yourself. That is okay. The only thing that is not okay is when you don't have any emergency fund, you get a bonus and you have debt and you spend all of your money on yourself because probably you are overwhelmed by whatever situation you're going through. and you forget that these expenses are still there. So put a little towards paying down your loans and your credit card. It's a third of the money. I was splitting up in three parts. A third to your past expenses. That's what we call debt, your loans and credit card. A third to your present, which we call your savings, and a third to your future, which we call investment. But as I said before, either the investment or the savings part, if you have an emergency fund and you have 3 to 6 months of emergency fund money, then you can probably use the savings portion towards spending it on yourself to go enjoy yourself some way, shape, or form. All right. We do not preach budgeting where you feel restricted. In the case like some people recommend that you buy noodles for the rest of your life, and no, no, thank you. I'm not interested in that. So I'm gonna find a workaround, like using this calculator, and it show me where can I find the money. And if I don't find the money in the budget, mean after I've depleted what is in wants, the target for wants, and depleted what is in the target for savings, and I still don't find the money, that means, people, you need more income, because that's the only category that is left. You cannot trouble the needs category too much because you have to live. So I hope this presentation was very eye-opening and gave you a lot of tips. So I'm gonna be sharing this spreadsheet, Mary's test budget, with you, and so that you can have it to do a little adjustment and basically help you and guide you as to doing a proper budget and doing a proper financial plan for yourself and your family. Okay, guys, any questions? Put them in the comments. Put your questions in the comments. You must have some questions. I've been talking for how long then? 54 minutes. Oh my God. Yeah. So I can go on and on about finances. The first public speaking presentation I did, I spoke for 3 hours. It was amazing to me. All right, so that was a segue. Sorry. All right, so guys, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Hit the notification bell, and thank you for joining us today on how to manage your money using the 50-30-20 rule as your budgeting guide. And as I said before, budgeting is flexible, and you need to be as well. All right, guys.